Hi, my name is Stanley Burnell, and I'm going to show you my new patented tools to install basket strainers. And this is the new packaging for the basket strainer tools. It's called Strainer Buddies. These are two new tools that's going to be on the market in the coming days. And I'm going to take the tools and show you how they are used to install a brand new basket strainer in the sink today. And now I'm going to show you how the tools look out of the packaging and show you their nice fit in your hand, and they fit under the sink real easy to where you got plenty of room to install your basket strainer. This Strainer Buddy tool actually has the pin, and it's the only tool that actually attaches to the basket strainer itself to hold it in place. And it locks in place, and you grab it with a pair of pliers and you tighten the big nut with the strainer spanner wrench. And the spanner wrench actually goes back to the early days of my plumbing, when Dad said go out there and get the tools you need for plumbing. I didn't have any tools. And the spanner wrench, I've always used the spanner wrench for the last 20 years, and it makes these tools the dream tools for installing basket strainers for plumbers. And this is the basket strainer we're going to take out today, and most of the job is done from under the sink, so we're going to jump under the sink and take this old one out. And now we're going to show you how we take this strainer and cut this strainer nut, tightening nut, off of this basket strainer and take it out of the sink with the Dremel tool. Let me get my channel locks. There she goes. Right now we got that loose. The strainer will come out as I got that loose. And I'm going to loosen this nut. And now we're going to pull that strainer right out the top of the sink. And now I'm going to show you get this old strainer out of this sink. There she blows. There's the old one. Here's the old washer. Here's the old nut that I cut with the Dremel tool. And we got this old bad boy. We're going to throw this one away. But before we do, we got to clean up the mess that we got here under this area where the new strainer is going to go in. And I want to take that tailpiece loose. Alright, we're going to see if we can get this tailpiece loose. We're going to reuse the tailpiece. And it comes right off, which is good. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. So once you get it loose, take this loose. And that's the old basket strainer. Now we're going to clean the sink up. And we're going to take all this apart and clean up this old tailpiece, which can be reused. Nothing wrong with it. This is all trash. This, and this is a throwaway. So we're going to take it and throw it away over here. Don't need that. And we're going to take this, got a paper towel here, kind of clean this up a little bit. No biggie. Just going to take waste through it. We just run a little something through there like that and throw this away. Okay, now another paper towel. We got to clean the sink up. Get all the old putty off. That's the only other thing you need to put in a basket strainer: some putty and a little pipe dope. We're just going to let this fall underneath the sink. No biggie, because I've got protecting stuff underneath the sink to catch it. It makes it nice and neat. Alright. Then we got the strainer like we want it, or the tailpiece. This is going to go underneath the sink, so we're just going to let this lay under the sink while we install our new basket strainer. First off, before we do this, I'm going to run a little sand cloth around this. And make sure we get all the old putty, make sure it's nice and smooth. And if there's any markings that might show up, make it nice and pretty. And once I got that done, that thing looks good. And we just throw that underneath there. Now we're ready to install the new basket strainer. Now we're going to show you the basic basket strainer that we install in the sinks, and these you can buy them any home improvement or hardware store. And what we're going to do is take it out of here, out of the mop, if I can get it out. And this is the basket strainer that we would install. Here's the strainer part that strains your water, keeps everything from going down the sink. You're going to take this and set it aside because this will be used later. And this is the basic basket strainer. And there's the big nut that I cut off before. And we're going to take this nut off because we got to put it from under the sink. So we take this off, that's going under the sink, and so are the washers and the slip washer. This is the rubber washer and the slip washer. That's going to also go under the sink. Our strainer buddy tool actually attaches where this slip joint nut is, and there's your tailpiece washer. We're going to set that aside. That also goes under the sink. And this is your basket strainer, in which we have to put putty under here. That's the first thing you do. So we'll lay it there and we're going to get some putty. And we're going to roll it out. So we got to get it nice and little layer of putty. So what we're going to use, so what we're not going to use. You don't want a whole lot of putty, but I like to have about like that. And we'll just take that part and set it back in there. Now, I'm going to put this under the flange of the basket strainer. And like I said, you want to kind of fill it up because most of it's going to get squeezed out. And there's the excess. We don't need that part, so we're going to take that and put it in also in the putty. Now we're going to press it in a little bit so it's nice and ready to be going inside that sink. So that's the way it's going to go. Now we're getting ready to push it into the sink. And now we got the putty like we want it under the strainer. We're going to squeeze it into the sink. And we kind of like just get it going a little bit, and where it's kind of pressed in a little bit. And that's all we need to get started. And now we're going to install the strainer and tighten it down with the strainer tool, strainer buddy tool. And first you put the rubber washer on first. Then you put underneath of that the slip washer. That allows this big 3-inch nut to slide to be able to tighten down without grabbing into the rubber. So I'm going to install it onto the strainer, which I've already pushed into the sink. And we're going to put it up hand tight. And when it gets about hand tight, that's when we're going to stop and hook up the strainer buddy tool. That's good enough there. Alright, here's the strainer buddy tool. That pin is going to lock into these crossbars and keep this thing from turning after I grab it with a pair of pliers. So we're going to try it right here and see if this is a good positioning. And all you do is put it on hand tight. Now it's locked in. See how that locks in? Pop, locked. She ain't going nowhere. I put a wrench on that bad boy and she's staying in place. We're going to put an open-end wrench this time. You can use a pair of channel locks, but I like the open-end wrench. Or adjustable pliers, whatever you want to call them. Now we're going to use the spanner wrench that comes with the strainer buddy tool to do the job quickest and easiest under these sinks. See how tight I got under here? I'm so tight. If I had a big old tool under here, I wouldn't be able to do much turning. With this small tool, it gives me plenty of room to turn stuff. Alright, so we're going to grab a hold of it here. And now I'm going to grab it and we're going to tighten it down. And this allows all that putty to squeeze out. Can't tell whether you can see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to move. You can see me tighten this thing down. And what I like to do too, once you get it about like you think you got it tight, we're going to make sure it's centered in the upper part of the sink. And you just hold on. I'm just going to center it right quick and look at what we got. Kind of pull the putty that's squeezed out of the way a little bit, make sure it looks good up top. That it's kind of centered in the hole there. And it looks pretty good. I'm going to back it up this way a little bit more. Because if it gets up on one of these rims, it won't pull down properly and make it nice and tight. Now we got it like we want it. We'll come back. If I put this on this way, I'm actually using it backwards to get me more leverage. Yeah, see how we got plenty more room now because I got in there and the putty can be squeezed out some more. And sometimes you have to do that twice. That bad boy's going in there tight, ain't it? Let's look what it looks like up top. This is when you get your screwdriver out and you kind of dig around and get the putty out from the strainer itself all the way around and pull it out of the way, and you can see the strainer going down. Looking good. Let's try it one more time, see if she'll go down some more. Sometimes you wait a little longer and the putty will squeeze and then it'll kind of adjust itself. This will probably be the last time I need to do this. But you see how that strainer buddy tool is holding that. There you go, see it? And we got some more leverage. I'm doing this kind of in the blind, as you can see. I really can't see how to grab it. Tell me you can't get it tight with this small tool. She'll do the job. She'll do it easy and nice and fit nice and easy in your toolbox. Come on, man. Where you at? Now, you don't want to strip the nut, but you want it tight so it'll never leak on you. You're going to see a little bit of putty squeeze out of here, and sometimes you see the washer go to one side or the other. But these type of strainers that have the thick washer, I like these the best, because they don't leak on you, and you can squeeze them tight and do the job easy. Yep, she squeezed out pretty. She's in there. She'll never leak. 10 years from now, whenever that strainer gets to where you want to replace it again, you'll have to cut that nut loose. You'll never take it off of there. And now we're going to hook up the tailpiece and show you the rest of the job and reconnect. Now we're going to complete the job. We're going to put the tailpiece back on the strainer and hook it to the drain. First off, we're going to put a little bit of pipe duct. This is thread compound. Just a little bit on these threads. This will keep the water from leaking back through and leaking. Some of these little tedious leaks can be solved by a little bit of pipe, plumber's dope, or pipe thread compound they call it. We're just going to put a little bit right down them threads. That should do it. Now, here's the tailpiece that we've cleaned up best we can. It doesn't matter because it's the same length we need it. We're going to put the slip joint nut that came with the basket strainer on it. Here's your tailpiece washer. They call this also a top hat washer. Put that on there. Oops. Alright, we got the nut, the tailpiece washer, and the slip joint nut for the T. Now we're putting the slip joint washer on, and now we're going to install it. A little tight somewhere, a little bit of a tight. That should work. Same thing on this side. Oops. Gotta figure out where you can get to it. That should do it. ready to test it out. And this is the last step of putting this strainer in. We're going to make sure the putty's all taken away from this strainer. And you want to just run your pair of flathead screwdriver. Now that's all the excess putty that came out. That's be used again. Now we got the strainer ready to be tested. So we're going to fill it up and test it for leaks. And I usually put, something like that. You want to put pressure on the strainer where the putty was to make sure that with pressure put on it, it'll show a leak better than if you just ran water through the strainer. It's not going to show nothing unless you fill the sink up. Usually I fill it up 3/4 of the way. I'm just going to fill it up about halfway this time just to give you a little idea of how we test it for leaks. And now we got it filled up, we're going to test it for leaks. That's about half full. Hate to waste the water, but we have to test this for leaks to make sure it's no leaks underneath the sink. So we just pull this out with your channel locks, and while that's draining, we're looking under the sink. It wasn't that easy. These two little tools right here did that job as simple and as fast as any other two tools on the market. Plus, I got a feeling that you wouldn't have got that thing in there as tight and as easy as these two tools put it in with the limited space that was under that sink. And these are the two tools, very simple to use, and they work great in your toolbox. You put them, slide this here and that one there, and you got the thing done. I'm going to show you the packaging one more time. This is what it looks like when you buy one. This will come in the mail to you, and they're only $34.99. And you just, like I said, I think all plumbers will love having this tool. This is the plumber's dream tool for installing basket strainers.